It's like iCarly. It's like iCarly. And we're live in 5, 4, 3, 2.
What's up, y'all?
Happy Friday.
Happy Friday.
Is it a happy Friday?
All right.
I mean, it's the weekend, so it's always happy over here when it's the weekend.
Well, while people are coming in, if you rewatch this, I just want to say rest in peace to all of those who we lost to.
We can't hear you because you're walking away from your John, bro.
Yeah.
RIP to everybody that we've lost to police brutality, just brutality, period, against our race. That's all.
Not exactly.
Everybody's day.
Huh?
How was everybody's day?
It was good.
Here this one comes, just laying down.
Hi,
Hey,
Shekinah.
Shekinah.
It's going to be an interesting conversation, Shekinah, for sure. We got a doozy for you today.
I'm
Yo,
just
why-
glad that Aaron learned her name.
Hey, listen, but if you peep, Darnell said it first, and I just heard it. I wasn't the first one to say it.
What did I say first?
Shekinah's name.
What's up, Jasmine?
Oh,
I
Jasmine.
just saw your father.
Your father.
All right, here we go. About to tag y'all in it.
Appreciate it.
So the other day, quick story time. I let Bourbon in from outside, and he had this big scratch on like his stomach. I don't know what happened. Like there is this one corner that he goes in behind my shed. That has like a lot of like sticks and like thorns and stuff. So I'm thinking it could have been like he was back where he wasn't supposed to be. But I was like, did you just get in a fight with another dog? Like what happened? I was
I love you too.
But not he's
You,
fine.
Jazzy.
Love you too, Jazz.
All right.
I was like put alcohol like on his stomach, like the rubbing alcohol. I was gonna put a Band-Aid on him, but I didn't think that would be a good idea.
He probably will rip it off and eat it, I'm sure.
That's exactly why I chose not to do that.
Yeah, I feel like
He's
human
like
band-aids
a
aren't meant for dogs.
Do they make dog Band-Aids?
No idea. That's what I'm saying. I'm
Probably.
sure it's not meant for it. I mean, I'm sure they do.
Huh. I'm gonna
They
go.
also call it a vet.
I mean, it's not that big of a scratch, and that's a bill.
That is true.
You got that water running, huh, Darnell?
Calm.
Is that water or grease popping?
A little bit of grease popping with the burger.
Just to let everybody know, Darnell wants to invite us into his cooking show for this portion of the podcast because
I haven't eaten all day. I've worked and I'm hungry, and so I crashed when I got home.
This
And
week,
now I'm making
one Top Chef.
What was that?
Chopped.
this week on Chopped, exactly.
Master Show, all that.
Yeah, Darnell.
Shekinah, you know I always.
That's funny.
Shush up.
All right, so let's go and get into it. What's up, and welcome to the Lab Podcast, a podcast with four friends. My name is Aaron.
I'm Camille.
I'm tired.
and I'm Matt.
I
Oh,
feel like I'm too young to get this reference. I don't.
You're not, but
What does that mean?
fine.
Hey, Mama Hilton.
What's this mean?
It's from a gospel song. Shirley Caesar.
All right, there we go. That makes sense now.
Come on,
That's from, Reed, that's actually from where beans, greens, potatoes, tomatoes. That's where that's from.
Yes, it is.
It is. Wow. It is. Wow. So we're going to hop into our.
Don't act like I don't know nothing. Come on, me.
We're going to hop into our first hot topic of the day. We got our Kardashian update. Well, actually, this is the Jenner update. This isn't even a Kardashian update. So apparently, Kendall Jenner has to pay $90K for involvement in the Fire Festival.
Yeah, so she I guess she didn't know that obviously it wasn't legitimate, but
I mean,
somehow
nobody knew. That's the thing.
She just collected the check for posting it.
So what did she like
Right.
sponsor after it, or like how did she get?
No, she just
How did she
posted
get
it.
$90 million in the hole? Pretty much.
Well,
90,000.
Oh, I was. Well,
Yeah.
I think what happened is that you had a lot of celebrities and Instagram personalities who were hired and were given money by the creators of the Fire Festival to promote the Fire Festival on their social media feeds.
Trying to do this.
Do what? Oh.
Yeah, the Fire Festival did a lot of. Fire Festival was one of the first things when it came to like influencer marketing, like social media influencer marketing on a crazy grand scale. And she was probably the biggest social media influencer that they used for the Fire Festival to like really get it crazy, really get it popping, really get so many people, to know about it. And she they mad at her for that.
I guess when it fell apart, she was just kind of one of the ones that suffered from that.
Yeah, because she's one of the biggest names. But first we all know she got it.
Suffered if you didn't like. I kind of feel like one would look into it. Like, how did these people play that many people?
Well, like I said, this was so far back. This was before Instagram even made you put hashtag ad for sponsored posts.
And Instagram started to do that because of this.
Because the Fire Festival was in what year? 2018?
I thought it was older than that. I don't know.
Maybe 2017.
Because honestly, if you really think about it, as big as social media influencers and everything are now, it really wasn't a thing like back then. Because there were celebrities that were get paid to promote certain things, or you take a Fashion Nova or whatever, companies I'd be like, take a picture in this outfit, we'll pay you however much. That was still around, but wasn't as big as it kind of is now, and there were no regulations much because of things like the Fire Festival and everything. So I definitely can understand why everything changed, because once you see as big of a disaster as it was,
Sorry, guys. If I'm a little distracted, it's just because my brother, something exciting's happening. So don't mind me.
Oh, well, that's cool. Continuing the Jenner update, not people were up in arms, but they weren't. But apparently Kylie Jenner's not a billionaire, according to Forbes. They saying she might have lied on some tax stuff. But even still, them saying she lied on the tax stuff, they don't have to prove that she's lying on tax stuff. And then Kylie tweeted out some tweets this morning, like, "What do y'all talk about? What y'all on?" Like,
I saw her one tweet that was like, "There's 1,000 other things to be more concerned about than how much money I have."
Yeah,
which is true, but also Kylie,
that's a deflect.
That's kind of the vibe I got. I was like, all right. Then I know a lot of the responses are like, okay, then why aren't you speaking on those things? Like, you're trying to take the attention off of you by using what's going on as kind of like something don't look at me, look over here, pay no attention to the man behind the curtain type of thing, No,
we paying attention.
I feel like, where did they get it from though? If she's saying that it's not true, I don't know.
Out the blue. I mean, from the article I read, it was really out the blue. It really seemed
people find a lot about tax information and stuff. That's why I always find everything about celebrities and everything, and not to go back to reality TV like we were talking about earlier, but that's how the Judices got caught up, and Joe and Teresa went to jail, because a lot of tax forms are public records that you can look and see what people owe and how much they're worth, and if their house is paid for, everything like that. Those are things you can find if you're looking for it.
Yes, you can.
Yeah.
Well, even if she's not a billionaire right now, if she did lie, the way she's going and how they're feeling he's building, she will be soon.
She will be.
Well,
I think that more money than I'm ever going to see, probably. So
I'm not sure about that, only because there's been times where her makeup lines have been, caused great controversy with how much she's hyped it up compared to what actually people got, and so
I've seen a lot of what's the word? The people that do skin, it starts with an E.
Estheticians.
Thank you. I've seen a lot of estheticians ripping apart her skincare line, specifically on Twitter and social media.
People don't like her skincare stuff. Her skincare line doesn't work.
Yeah, to say it's basically just like water and like some products that like really don't do much for you, but like it's selling because she put her name on it.
Which her makeup though, people like her actual makeup though. People do
like. A lot of people do like her makeup.
Like legit makeup artists like her makeup.
But she was like, "This is real human hair. You know, this is gonna be good stuff. This is why it costs so much money." And people got it, and the stuff was falling apart.
I don't recall what you're speaking of.
Who?
Matt remembers.
No, I don't.
You don't.
I don't pay attention to her makeup line and stuff.
Yeah, no.
I know she got one, but I don't really pay attention to
Well,
it.
it was just like a big thing in the YouTube community because YouTube influencers were trying it, and they're like, "This ain't it, honey."
Oh, that's all right. Moving on, y'all. Is Doja Cat racist?
A little bit.
I think that she was put in a situation like.
What's up, Lamar?
Hey, Lamar. He hasn't texted me back yet. Mm-hmm.
Wow, just live.
Just kidding. No, but I think that the problem I think I had mainly with it is that you're in this chat room with people who are you're allowing them to say whatever it is that they want to say, especially mainly to her about her. So I just feel like, why are you okay with that?
I feel like
yourself may not be racist, but the fact that you're welcoming that type of behavior, I think that it's still just as wrong.
Now, the reason why I don't disagree with anything that you said. It definitely was like a bad situation to put herself in, especially now that she does have a platform as a Black woman, everything like that. Now, the reason why I don't think it's necessary that she was racist or like anything like that, like I personally did think a lot of the articles not articles, tweets and stuff I saw, videos, whatever, some of them are a little bit of a reach in my opinion. Reason being is because you never heard her in those videos say, "Oh, I don't want to be Black," or "Oh, I have a problem with Black people, Black culture, whatever." And that's kind of like what they were equating it out to, like that she was saying. Yeah, the people were like saying racist things that she was talking to in the chat rooms, but like herself, like at least in the videos I watched, or honestly, to be honest, were not that many because I didn't really care that much, personally, honestly.
The quality wasn't that great.
Yeah, I didn't have time for all that. I didn't hear her specifically say anything bad. I thought mainly a lot of this came out of she does have a bigger platform now. She did just have a #1 single. So now that the spotlight is on her, now these things are coming out. The one thing that I really thought was maybe the biggest deal was that one song or whatever that was like the racist term or like the didn't do nothing or something. I never personally heard that term. I didn't really know what it meant.
That's one of her old things. But like you already know, when people get, she had that #1 single, she's getting a platform. It was just a matter of time before people started, trying to look through the skeletons in her closet to find some stuff.
Right.
I think that's just important how people who reach.
Oh, you gotta talk to the camera. You walking past. I can't hear
you. Who reach a certain stratosphere in their fame, they have to be careful. Well, not be careful, but have a good handle on what has happened in their past, and be prepared to answer for some not so good things that they might have said. This is why you have a good publicist. This is why you're supposed to have a good team so that they can write your statements, do what you're supposed to do, so that you can hopefully get ahead of it instead of having to react to it.
Do that. Yeah.
One thing she did say in one of the apologies she posted, I think it was this was before everything. This is when she did a magazine article, I think when she was like first getting famous. She was like when she was growing up, she was one of the only people of color in her neighborhood because I think she grew up in California, if I'm not wrong. She was one of the only people of color in her neighborhood, and she was bullied because she was a mixed girl and everything like that, So she found like her safe area, like online in chat rooms, like everything like that.
Yeah.
So as now that she's famous, she does still go into chat rooms and stuff with fans and like everything like that. Because she was like, it's just a place where like she feels like very comfortable being herself and like expressing herself, everything like that. So and so that's why she maybe it came from a place to like maybe I'm just like kind of like just equate these two things. But maybe she was like, okay, these people don't judge me for me. I can't really judge them for how they feel, everything like that. I'm not saying that's right. She definitely should have said something, especially when they're saying racist things. However, that could be a reason why she chose not to speak up.
Yeah. Yeah.
Honestly, personally, I just as a closing note, I feel like she'll be fine over this. Cancel culture, in my opinion, is very extra nowadays. Like people be canceled for 2 minutes, then something else happened bigger and it's fully forgotten about.
Yeah. You got to really do something egregious to get canceled in today's world.
Yeah, I don't really feel like this will really dim her fame or like hurt her career or anything like that.
I just feel like you have to be conscious and aware of. Wait, no, that's not the direction I wanted to go in. Hold on.
Rewind.
I was going to say that. Dang it, I don't remember. Go ahead.
All right.
Last thoughts, if I remember it.
Right, it'll come back to you.
It'll come back to me.
So, Doja Cat, Joe Biden went on I think it was like a virtual virtual
Breakfast Club.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, virtual Breakfast Club, and he basically had a quote saying towards the end of it when Charlamagne asked him, what do you say basically to black people who can't decide between him and Trump, and he basically something come out of his mouth saying, if you can't decide between me or Trump, you're not black. And people were up in arms about the statements. What are y'all thoughts?
I mean, I probably wouldn't have said that out loud.
Exactly.
But if that's what you feel and that's what you think, all right. I feel like I don't think I would have said it to the public.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But who is he to say something about black people to black people? That's my thing.
I feel like it's one of these things, like, as a presidential nominee, as like, exactly, like, yeah, we've said it on the low, but at the end of the day, that's between us. That's like kitchen table talk. But like, you are like, you can't really say those things, in the type of field that you're in and everything like that. I still, what you said wasn't wrong, but I would have said it in a different way. Personally, it's one of those things. It's like, it's not what you say; it's how you say it, and how people receive it. How people receive it. Things are like 90% of it nowadays. Because like I could say to you something in my opinion that's not offensive, but if you take it that way, you're going to be offended regardless of how I meant
it. My thing is this: that he's been saying things that's making me look at him a little bit side-eyedly, and it's a shame that we had such tremendous talent in the beginning of the Democratic primary, and how it just dwindled down to him is just amazing to me, because he's always putting his foot in his mouth. He's always saying something that he shouldn't be saying. This isn't the first time that he said an off-colored remark. One time he said that, the difference between poor kids and white kids, insinuating that all poor kids are black. So there's just been time after time where he said things. And I feel like the Democrats or people who are progressive and black people, we have to be we have to hold them to the fire a bit more, than ever, because we have a president who's doing just the same, if not worse. So I just think it was not a joke. I mean, his senileness is getting him confused, and he doesn't know who he's talking to because his mind is gone.
Whether a joker or not, like this, what you just said begs the question: does what he said make you upset enough to vote for Trump?
No, but it makes me disappointed in who we have to choose between once more, because obviously Uncle Joe,
never going to be a good choice.
Uncle Joe, I feel like there are good choices, but because of how our two-party system is created, good talent isn't able to rise the ranks easily anymore. Now you have to pay your dues, and you have to do this and that, and you have to kiss the rings of people. But Joe, just like, why? Just why? Why even say it? Why make it form your mouth? You are not black. You don't have an opinion when it comes to why black people vote the way that they vote. We are not monolithic. We're not all thinking the same. We are all individual. And so treat us as such. And I think Charlamagne said it best. The best way to apologize is for him to make a black agenda, which he has yet to do.
I think it was very interesting because I thought two things about it. I was like, one, politicians need to stop going to the Breakfast Club because the Breakfast Club,
yeah,
it's not the platform for that. If you ask me,
I think they do good.
I don't think it's a platform for it because Charlemagne is going to do things to try to get you to say something to get himself views. Today.
The Breakfast Club is a gossip show. It's
a gossip show. He's going to ask you some dumb questions. He's going to try to get you flustered. And then once you flustered, he's gonna try to hit you with some real questions and have you saying things.
And then once you say something stupid, they're gonna turn around and put you on the other side. Like,
I don't think so. I think that.
Can I get my statement out, please? I'm not done. Jeez, I didn't get the. Lord have mercy. You already cut me off the start, and now you're doing it now. Anyway. So I don't think politicians go to the Breakfast Club. And so I actually, the thing made me mad because I actually agree with Darnell, but he won't let me get no words out. I do think that.
Get your words out.
I don't think he said, what he said. It kind of caught me by surprise. Does it make me want to vote for Trump? No, I'm not stupid. But I just think that statement kind of painted the thought that a lot of politicians think they can just inherit the black vote, especially some Democratic politicians think just because, especially with the situation we have now with the current administration, that they can just inherit the black vote. They just think, well, blacks gonna vote for me because they ain't got nothing else to do. But what they fail to realize, a lot of blacks just won't vote, and that's the scary part in it. That I think the statement that he made like that can be detrimental to get a lot of blacks to just say, "Oh, you think like that? Then I'm not rocking with you, and now I'm just not voting at all," which is
that makes sense.
Worse. So I think that's why personally I think that statement could be detrimental to his campaign moving forward.
Yeah, and young people especially now don't even want to vote anyway. Like, it's not like, remember when Rock the Vote was a thing?
It's not.
Yeah, it's not so much. It's kind of died, and I kind of wish it would come back. I feel like it's important. Well, yeah.
He's all distracted. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. I think that people, like, it's kind of lost its way.
Yeah.
And especially now more than ever, we need to bring it back because
it's important.
Our voices do need to be heard, and it's important. Yeah.
Amar brings up an interesting point. He says the black community needs political awareness. The politicians have to go to where the black people are. Then go ahead. I don't necessarily disagree with that statement, but I still stick to the statement of I don't think the Breakfast Club is a location for that. I think there can be a platform for black people that is, like, I guess I'll say black centric, but still a place for actual conversation of politics. And what comes to mind is, I can't remember what it was, where it was, but BET had it a couple months ago. There was, like, T.I. put on a panel, and there was a panel of all of the activists, but it was like a space for real conversation. Like, that could be a platform that could be created that is black centric, but can have real conversations where politicians can actually get their positioning across to the black community.
Right.
Well, here's my problem with that, Aaron, is that BET has shown.
Come back to the screen.
BET has shown on many occasions to really not focus on things that empower the black community. And have, become almost like Uncle Tom's when it comes to what they do.
The BET wasn't the point. BET was the point. If you're feeling with a bigger channel, like
BET tried to do that, and then ultimately they stopped doing that. I think when it comes to the Breakfast Club, though, is that they have a national reaching audience, and that people are always watching it and tuning in. And they've had many politicians come on the show, and I've watched a lot of the interviews, and I think that it's informative because they give a perspective of somebody who's just a regular Joe Schmo walking down the street, not really into politics, not really into that whole entire scene, but they kind of transcribe how we might be feeling to them, and then they in turn transcribe what politicians are trying to educate or tell the masses to us, and so I think that they're a great in between as far as that information going back and forth.
I definitely see what you mean, and I see, like, your guys' opinion and everything.
And at least they're doing it.
Yeah, like, I feel like everybody's kind of like saying pretty much the same thing. There definitely needs to be the conversation, and the focus needs to be brought to the black community, politics, and everything like that. It definitely needs to be a focus, and definitely needs to be talked about. It just needs to be a way, just like Aaron said, an actual conversation, and then just like kind of like Darnell and Lamar are saying, black focus.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Moving on.
And that's on period.
Moving on, I feel like we got a different versus battle to talk about every week. I actually didn't watch last week's versus battle.
Who was last week? Wasn't it? Oh, I remember. Wasn't it?
Ragged Edge and 112.
Yeah, I didn't watch that one. I didn't get a chance to watch it.
Did you just say 112?
You definitely did say 112. Listen, 112. I don't even know much about music, and I know it ain't 112.
All right.
Look, it's better than she said. She could have said 112.
True. Let's keep it rolling.
Kirk Franklin and Fred Hammond is doing a versus battle this Sunday at 5:00. Who are you picking as your victors?
This Fred is Hammond. Really hard.
I'm going with
It's hard, man. I was going when I heard it. I spent all this week going through their discography, and I was just like, I don't know.
The problem with Kirk is that his last album I wasn't in love with.
Being good after like 2007. Let's just throw that out. I mean,
right. If we're talking about
actually both of them, really, if you ask me, I don't like neither of their current music, but that's just me.
Well, if you go to throwback Kirk of like late 90s, early 2000s.
Oh, Kirk with the family still?
He owned with the family, yes. By himself. It was fire. He just owned it.
Absolutely.
Now, the thing is with Fred Hammond, I love Fred Hammond. There's this one album in particular that I listened to daily. Like I used to listen to it all the time on CD. When we had CDs more often, that's when I listened to it. But he came out with this love album. I don't know what happened. A lot of these gospel artists from back in the day came out with these love albums. Like Kim Burrell tried to do it. Fred Hammond did it.
All them gospel love albums.
A lot of gospel artists started out as secular artists.
Yeah, but they forgot how to make it. Darnell, what?
We're gonna have to hide your camera because nobody wants to see.
Please get a nap. I'm glad we all noticed that at the
same time. Oh God!
Yikes! Okay, we're sorry, y'all. But
we apologize. Continue, Camille.
So I feel like they came out with these love albums, and I feel like it set them back, in my mind, a little bit of just. I'm like why? Like you didn't have to do all that. You don't have to be that close to the secular world. Like, you know what I mean? Like, do you have to be? Your music was very universal on its own.
I feel like in a way, it kind of helps gospel artists reach outside of the gospel community. You see Kirk Franklin with like a love album or anything like that. It may not everybody, but some people may think, okay, maybe I'll go listen to some of his gospel music.
I just wanted to put that out there. Continue.
Yeah, that's what Red Zone was really saying. It kind of like in a way does help you branch out of the just gospel box, if you want to call it that. No artist really wants to do just one type of thing. That's what they're known for, like that. So it does help get your name out there.
I get it, but like I saw this video of this guy. I don't know who he was, but he was smoking weed and he was listening to an old Fred Hammond song. And you know what? I was like, that's okay. You just see how he didn't have to Fred Hammond didn't have to come out with a love album for somebody who looks wise, if you're gonna judge him by what he looks like. I don't know him, but if you're someone like that who just likes and appreciates Fred Hammond's music, who's secular, I guess you can call it, for lack of a better word.
Yeah. Well, I
think gonna win.
I think
Fred.
I personally would go with Kirk Franklin.
I gotta go with Kirk.
Let me say this because I wasn't able to touch on this, but at least with
touching on that burger.
At least with the Love albums, I think that one thing that my cousin Chris, who's a producer, he told me, because I was just asking questions about my own personal writing, is that gospel music is one of the most versatile genres. You'll have everything. You'll have gospel artists mixing and doing different things. From when Twinkie Clark, with her, you brought the sunshine, put a reggae beat to it, to Tone doing Screamo, really Screamo gospel. So you have this wide breadth, and so I think that having love albums is just a natural part because first of all, God is love, and so what better way to have a whole album dedicated to love? But then just saying, I think that Fred is probably going to win because he has hits going far back. And he's still turning out hits.
Can he bring his commissioned
yes.
to see? I don't think that's fair because I feel like if you're going to bring commission,
Kirk can bring the family.
But Kirk can bring the family because Kirk has always he needs singers. He can't be by himself.
But I mean, that's his thing. That was part of his thing. Like that, like Kirk can bring the family, and yes, commission can be a part of it.
I don't know if commission can be a part of it because commission wasn't just Fred.
Name everybody else in commission.
Hezekiah Walker.
No.
Not Hezekiah. Wait, Marvin
no,
Sapp.
not you.
Marvin Sapp.
Name everybody else.
Marvin Sapp.
Marvin Sapp was in commission? This might not help it might not prove my own point, but continue.
Well, what's your point? My
point was he can bring commission because I was gonna say nobody else in commission mattered because I don't know him, but then you said Marvin Sapp, so yeah, that's gonna be my point. It don't matter.
That's like Beyonce. If you're doing a Beyonce versus whomever,
Beyonce definitely can bring Destiny's Child because nobody else.
That is not fair.
That is a whole section of her career. How would she not bring?
Exactly, she can bring Destiny's Child.
But if you're going up against another solo artist, I think you have to bring your solo artist music.
If Child could come to the Super Bowl, if they could go to Coachella, they would be able to come to a versus.
Hello.
Also, I think that since they're both very big writers and they've written for everybody, they should also be able to bring the hit songs that they wrote under.
I mean, I feel like a lot of it will be. I think a lot of it will be writing credits because, like, that's not what they're mainly known for, but like widely known for songs they've written.
Well, it's gonna be their songs. They think they do because some people like when Babyface and what's the name did theirs. They did songs. Yeah, Teddy. No, wait, Babyface. Who did Babyface go against?
I don't remember.
Was it Teddy Riley and Babyface?
I think so. Yeah, that feels like forever.
When they did theirs, because they had so many writing credits for other people, they played those other songs.
Yeah. Because I remember, I specifically remember Tony Braxton on Twitter be like, "Just play my song."
Yeah.
Yeah. Listen.
But they need to have their. I saw somebody saying that, like, please let their sound system be on point.
Right. I was just gonna say, whose Wi-Fi you think will mess up this week?
Yeah.
Fred.
Oh yeah, their Wi-Fi.
It's gonna be Fred's. Kirk too young.
Oh, because he's on.
Fred's stuff gonna be messing up.
Kirk has a whole studio.
That's why I think Kirk's gonna be fine. Or Kirk can try to
do whole studio too.
Mm-hmm.
If Kirk keep it simple, it's gonna be fine. If Kirk try to do too much, he gonna mess his up. But my default answer, Fred's Wi-Fi gonna be broke.
Well,
Kirk's gonna have people singing live.
Oh wait, with the mics and everything.
I can see Kirk being extra and just having his background singers singing all the hits with a full band through Zoom, and it still sounds amazing.
Hey, moving on with everything. Basically, it seems like almost everything is reopened at this point. Almost. Maybe not so much in Jersey, but not in Jersey, but it's a whole lot of states that's got a whole lot of stuff open. Mm-hmm. What's your thoughts on things opening up? Jersey just opened up summer camps for kids this year.
Yeah, I saw that today.
They have to. The parents are like, we're tired of our children. Y'all need to open something up.
Honestly, things opening up does make me optimistic and scared at the same time.
Your dog hates you right now. You're not giving him any love.
But honestly, like, this is crazy. Like literally before we got on live, when we were just talking, he was on the couch sleeping. As soon as Aaron clicked the live button, he wants to come over here and make noise.
Who's gonna go next?
What was I saying?
That's funny.
Oh, yeah, things opening up, it does make me excited and nervous at the same time because like things are going in a good trend right now, but obviously you don't want to see it, spike back up, and then we're stuck in the house for the second half of the year because honestly, it's almost June. The year is halfway over.
Yeah,
it's 6 months, and we spent majority of it in the house. Like that's just crazy to think about.
In the house since mid-March.
But at the same time, it does make you optimistic, especially sports fans. Like they're starting to talk about finishing out NHL, NBA seasons. I saw a whole bunch of like soccer is coming back, everything like that. So stuff like that makes you optimistic. But at the same time, you still got to be careful because like it's not gone. There's still people sick, still people in the hospital, and everything like that. So I don't know.
I just think that we have to keep in our minds that how we do life outside of our homes now has completely changed, and that it's going to be a very long road to get back to what we consider normal is, and that we're going to have to find a new normal along the way. Because personally for me, I still don't want Rona, and people still get Rona, like you said, Matt. So we have to be cautious when we open up. There has to be things like dividers and certain businesses will never be able to reach over a certain amount of capacity that they used to be able to reach. And that's just the truth about where we are right now as a world.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, you just have to be careful. As long as they have things in place to protect people from getting corona and they're consulting the scientists and the doctors, I'm all for it.
I mean, it's not even going to come down to having things in place. It's going to come down to people following it. Because, like,
it's going to get followed, I think, to an extent. And I agree with Darnell. There's definitely going to be a new normal, not the same normal. And I can. It's just all day, huh? Ain't it? Mm-hmm.
People.
You just cut.
I haven't done it.
Mm-hmm. That's the two culprits. I compare it to.
Aaron's a little bit sensitive tonight, y'all.
I compare it to airplanes and how, before the tragedy that was 9/11, you could pretty much just walk right up to your gate, or if you wasn't the one flying, you can walk right up to the gate and just pick up whoever you was greeting. Security was barely security. And now, people was pushing back when they introduced TSA and all the different stuff. But now you just know you got to show up to the airport 3 hours early because that's how long it takes to go through security. And that's the new normal. I definitely see moving forward for a while. You walk in somewhere, you get your temperature checked. That's going to be the new normal.
But
I mean, there's been places that like I've seen who have opened where they have opened up and like nobody seems to be wearing masks. They seem to be separated for the most part, but it looks like the workers, a lot of them have masks and gloves. So it's kind of like, I feel like it's semi.
Yeah. And they really full blown back to open. I see people in other states at restaurants getting drinks, chilling, having a great grand old time. So it's definitely interesting.
I mean, I think for here, I've seen two things. I've seen our numbers are going down, but then I also seen that they're rising. So I don't really know what's true and what's not anymore, really. But it's true. I mean, I don't know what to believe anymore at this point. Like, is it working or is it not working? Because I don't know. But I think for us, hopefully people can return to work because obviously people's unemployments can only last but so long.
Yeah.
So, you kind of need to make sure that rules are, put in place and everything like that.
Yeah.
I also think that it also matters with like who your state leadership is. Obviously, it doesn't matter what President Trump says because the governors are doing whatever they want to do. But you have places like Georgia where the governor is very laxed on everything, and so.
Georgia opened up nightclubs.
I'm telling you, and they're still trending up. So
I'm saying, like, what?
They're still trending up. I saw
Rona is still active in the dark, people.
I saw an influencer. He was flying. And he got furloughed in Atlanta. He came from New York, got furloughed in Atlanta, and he saw everybody there, and like it was like maybe like a small percentage of people walking through the airport with masks, and the airport was full. People were sitting down, dining, everything. Mm-hmm. And the thing is that when you have leadership like that who takes a very laissez-faire attitude when it comes to COVID-19, I'm afraid of what's going to happen in those states, because Georgia is a state that's still trending up. You know, I don't think that they've seen their peak yet, and they're acting like they've seen the peak. They've seen the decline of the peak, and it's behind them now, and COVID-19 doesn't exist. Mm-hmm. We still have to be very cautious, be careful where you go. There's some businesses, you know, even within states like New Jersey, that aren't really being that lax. I'm not saying the one that I'm working for is getting a little bit lax, but, you know, just you got to watch. Ask your people, how often do you clean the store? You know, observe and see if the store is being cleaned on the hour, things of that nature. You just got to be careful. Yeah. And it all depends on state leadership. If your state leader is tough on COVID-19, chances are you're going to make it through. But if you're in Georgia, you better pray. You better pray.
What is this? Yeah, I feel you. What is next on the docket? So Camille brought up an excellent topic, and I'm curious to see what y'all thoughts are. Proposing at someone else's wedding.
That was me.
That's what I was like, did I? I was like, I thought we went through all my topics.
That's a very interesting topic. Hey, no credit. Proposing at someone else's wedding, is it tacky or is it acceptable?
It depends. Depends on if the person says yes or not, honestly. Like if the bride and groom don't mind, then I would say, all right. But I wouldn't do it just out the blue. Like I wouldn't surprise people. That's not
that, in my opinion.
That's not okay.
That's tacky. That's an attention grab. That's like showing up at my birthday party and giving somebody else a gift. What? It just baffles me that these are these people's days, and you're gonna come and take the attention off of you, especially when you're done at the ceremony at the ceremony. I'm calling security. But at the reception, anything like that, like I would be so mad because like there's not a lot of time in life that attention gets to be 100% on you. So like your wedding, your birthday, stuff like that, I feel like that's just sacred.
I'm not gonna have my baby at your baby shower.
I don't know. I think that it depends on the closest that you are to the bride and groom. I think that it depends, you know, again, like you said, if they would be open to that, I think that that would be something that you would want to run by them first.
No.
I'd be like, today of days.
I don't know. I think I'd be open to it because I feel like it's I'd rather have that than the garter toss and all that other nastiness. I just feel like that's just like the strangest thing.
I mean, if you make it nasty, then it is nasty. But if you don't make it nasty, then
there's the ones that aren't nasty.
Yeah, you can make it appropriate.
I ain't reaching up in front of my wife's kuda-hoo at the wedding.
I mean, it doesn't go up that far.
Right. Isn't it just like on like the right?
It depends on where you put it. If you don't put it up by the thigh, it's not going to be by the thigh. But if you put it lower it.
You don't have to use your teeth. Like people just do a lot.
Yeah.
Listen, I got interesting thoughts for this, right? I agreed with some of y'all to an extent. Till y'all said this phrase right here. I don't want to do it unless I asked and they said it was okay. First off, don't ask. It's not appropriate to even hey, yo, your wedding that's coming up. Hey, can I propose at your wedding? What type of question is that? You can't even ask. No. The answer will always be no. Don't ask. Don't do nothing. No.
I would be open to it. It depends on how close you are to me, but I think I would be open.
Yo, if JJ, my blood brother, had a girl that he was in love with and was older and be like, bro, she'd have loved my life. Can I get married at your wedding? I'm punching him in his chest. Straight up.
He stopped the wedding and was like, hold up, bro. I'm going to let you finish, but I got to propose to my
family. And if it's a thing where you don't ask, you just think you're going to do it, I promise you, I'm stopping you in the middle of it. I'm picking you up off the ground and I'm walking you out because you're not. It's not happening. I'm embarrassing everybody. I'm
If
shutting it off.
If you want to propose at my wedding, you can go propose in the parking lot and get in the car right.
You can propose in the parking lot after the wedding. Exactly.
My thing is,
in the parking lot.
The audacity to even ask. That's how I feel.
My thing is,
Right,
is that if the day is a celebration of love,
it's not of love. It's of my love. It ain't of love.
No, it's a celebration of love.
It's me and the wife's love. It's not the world's love.
This is my day. This is about me.
I think that y'all should celebrate. And if it's a celebration after everything is done with the wedding,
can I renew my vows at your wedding then? I'm already gonna be married, but can I renew my vows at your wedding since we just love and stuff? Can I just get my vow renewal after? You already got the food, the people. Let me just get a vow renewal real quick.
That's what I'm saying. That is kind of a cheap way of doing it. Like, I'm gonna take you out.
You can do it like a Vegas wedding. You can do it like a Vegas wedding. One pastor and you just flip turns.
Exactly. You might as well just go ahead and get it. You know how when you and all your cousins got the same birthday around the same time, you all the family just throw one big birthday party.
Yes.
You might as well a group wedding. Just one pastor, 4 different couples getting married. Just get it over with.
Why was that my family?
With the bill with them.
Why was that my New York family on our cakes? It had everybody's name because for mine, literally, it's my aunt, my birthday, my cousin's birthday, my other cousin's birthday, my cousin's kid's birthday. Literally,
it'd be a big gap in the ranges of ages too. It'd be some people all the way to little kids with the same cake.
Everybody's name is on the cake. That is hardly a thing.
It didn't reveal at the reception. That's love. Oh my god!
Funny.
I just feel like there's some events, like especially weddings and things like that, that the sole attention should be on that person that's being celebrated, and to ask or not ask, regardless, I feel like you're just trying to steal the spotlight, and that's not cool.
It ain't at all. Moving on to a more, I guess, a serious topic. I first want to, my heart and prayers have been going out to George Floyd's family, the man who was murdered in Minneapolis this week. And we kind of just want to give a space to talk about thoughts, feelings, just to kind of share what we've been going through on a personal level, what we've seen, and so I'm just gonna open it up to y'all, whoever wants to start first and share what you want to share. If you don't want to share, however you feel comfortable, I ain't gonna force nobody to speak if they do not want to, whatever.
Well, I guess I'll start. I think that it's not even just the George Floyd incident, but I think that we've seen throughout the past, since the Georgia situation with Ahmaud Arbery, and even probably before that, it's just all these situations that are happening to Black people and to people of color. It's crazy. It's crazy. I mean, even the situation in New York with Christian Cooper, and the white woman who pretty much came to him and said, "I'm going to call the cops. I'm going to tell them that you're attacking me." It's showing that, and for people who had an idea that racism is no longer this big problem, we've had a Black president, it's behind us now. It is not behind us. We still have a lot of work to do. I'm thankful that there have been arrests in the Ahmaud Arbery case, and even in this most recent case. But we're all kind of holding our breath to see what will happen with it, if there's going to be indictments, if people are actually going to be convicted. It's sad. I think that one thing that I wrote down that I was going to post in a separate video, then I might still do. A lot of people are concerned about our white friends not saying anything, and that is something to pause and note and look at, because obviously they don't care enough to even post solidarity with what we're going through. But I think I'm more concerned with Black social media influencers and celebs who are very mute right now and haven't said a word. and I think that we should be concerned about that. I think that for our non-minority allies, I would say this because I've had conversations. I will say this: stand up in your everyday life. If you see racism, if you see bigotry, if you see hatred, call it out for what it is in the moment and stand up as an ally and say something. Talk with your Black friends and then have conversations with your other white friends who feel like it's too uncomfortable to talk about situations like this. And again, if you see something, say something. Stand in for somebody who can't stand in for themselves. I can just imagine for that most recent situation with George Floyd, if somebody had intervened, if maybe another white bystander, or if another cop had said, yo, this is too much, get your knee off his neck, if he would still be with us today. If somebody who was watching the situation with Ahmaud Arbery running down the street with these racist people following him and almost pretty much tracking him down like an animal, if they would have intervened and said, no, don't do that, if they would still be here. Same with Breonna Taylor and a whole bunch of other people within this past couple of months who we sadly lost to for just the mere fact that they're Black.
Yeah, I hear you. My thoughts on it were not necessarily surprisingly, because I kind of showed shades of it, and I feel like in our last episode, and I feel like sometimes me and you, Darnell, it's funny, ironically, we butt heads on this sometimes, but and Miss Angelique kind of just said it right here too. I'm not necessarily mad at some people who aren't saying anything or are silent because I can speak for myself. I don't speak on things often much because like I'm tired of it. I said the only thing I really did, I said on one tweet and I said I'm tired of seeing Black people getting killed on a weekly basis. Like, but I don't got nothing else to say personally. Like I don't, and it might sound as bleak as it sounds because I'm not hopeful, like personally, and that might be my truth. And something I maybe got to work on to maybe not have as much of a pessimistic outlook on it, but I'm really not hopeful for anything better because I saw another tweet today, and it said racism is getting worse; it's just getting filmed.
Yeah,
like, all of this stuff happening now has been happening forever. It happened to my dad, happened to my mom, happened to my grandma, my aunts, uncles. It's always happened, and it's just we see it on our phones all the time, over and over and over and over. And like I'm sick of seeing it. Like not sick of seeing it, but like I'm tired. Like I don't have the energy. Right. I feel like I don't have the energy, and that's just me. I don't have the energy to if somebody's racist to me, I might try to defend myself, but I don't got the energy in real life. But I don't got the energy to go back and forth with nobody on Facebook. I ain't got the energy to be texting nobody back and forth. I don't get the energy to be on the phone talking to somebody. Like, if you're not really in my life, I don't got the energy to try to change your racist outlook. You're dumb. Just sometimes it might even just be ignorance, but I don't have to be to me, I feel like I don't have to be the person to educate you. If you think you're ignorant and you want to learn, there are plenty of people who are doing the work, who have the passion to do the work. People like you, Darnell, who have the passion to do the work that they can talk to. But I know I'm not one of those people. So sometimes, even like you mentioned, the Black people, like Black famous people or whatever, I'm not even mad at them because they might be like me. Because I know if I was famous, I'd be real quiet right now because I'm tired. I don't have the energy. I don't want my phone blowing up with a whole bunch of racist people hitting me up as well after I say something. Like I would just be tired. Yeah. And that's what I'm saying. That's just for me.
I definitely agree with that sentiment. It's definitely a lot of exhaustion with the whole just topic in general. Seeing it all the time. It's anger, obviously, and then it keeps happening over and over and over again. And it's just it brings you to a point. It's like when is it finally going to click for some people that they're like, yeah, this is real. This is going on. Because like some people still act like racism doesn't happen or like it's not that big of a deal anymore. Sorry, I keep rubbing my eye. My allergies have been beating me up the past couple of days. But I just lost my whole train of thought. And they want to drive the attention away to other things. Like they'll be like, oh, why are they burning down the city. All right, that's not the point. They're burning down the city because they're outraged because somebody just got killed.
Right.
But you want to look over here at the looting and the stealing, everything like that, and make that the big deal. That's not the biggest deal. The biggest deal is the murder that happened, and that it's still not being called a murder by some people.
Yeah. I think that for me, I come from a different perspective because, well, actually, I mean, Darnell, you can relate. I'm an aunt. You know, I'm an aunt of 5, now 6 boys. Which my brother just, yes, my brother just had his baby. I can officially say it now because he posted the picture.
Congratulations.
Thank you. That's why I was distracted, y'all, the entire time, because I was like, is he here yet?
You said my brother's distracted. I was like, is it a kid on the way?
Yeah. This is their 6th and possibly last. We'll see.
I hope so. Jesus.
So now, you know, I have 6. What'd you say?
I said full house.
Yeah.
Oh, that's not what I heard. Okay, good. That's better.
Oh gosh.
Continue.
Same mommy, same daddy. You know, Black people always like to assume.
No.
I know y'all weren't. I'm just saying, like in general, like yeah.
I need some eye drops.
Clearly, get it together. So I have 6 nephews, and it scares me for them to have to grow up in this world, and I praying that God comes back before they even have to experience what racism is. Mm-hmm. And I look at them and they're just so innocent and cute and just being children, just being kids.
Right.
And, you know, my brother has to go to work every day to feed his family. And I worry about him too. You know, if heaven forbid something happens to him, my sister-in-law is now left with to raise 6 kids on her own. So it's like, like you said, Aaron, like I'm tired. Like I don't see any hope, honestly, because technically biblically, it's not gonna get better. It's not. I mean, you read Revelations. It's definitely not gonna get better. We can have hope. Right, it does. It gets real dark. It gets real. Honestly, I feel like now more than ever, we just need to just continue to pray, get closer to God, and just hope that He spares us, because it's crazy.
I think that coming from a place where I've had racism blatantly in my face, you know, I'll even speak to a couple of situations where I've gotten pulled over by cops, and I know that it was the majority because of the color of my skin. They came to my door talking about, so what about these warrants? And then I opened up my mouth, and then they changed their attitude a little bit. I've had situations on my job where, like the situation in Central Park, where I've confronted a white woman about her attitude, and she turned around and said that I was trying to harass her, and like almost lost my job over it. There was internal reviews. I had to make statements. I just feel like, especially seeing it firsthand and having it committed to me, even going back to school where somebody called me monkey lips.
We were all,
you know,
had racist moments at that school.
And hearing certain people,
I love that school, but it's trash.
Hearing certain people who I love and admire walk down the hall during President Barack Obama's where he was
inaugurated,
yeah. The word left me for some reason, but having to hear them say, I hope that somebody snipes him.
That was wild. Yeah.
You know, and then having our whole English teacher completely refuse to play it. As a young Black kid, I'm like, you're taking an experience away from me because you have disagreements with him politically. And because ultimately, let's face it, you really don't like the color of his skin. I feel like, at least for me, we just don't have a chance or an opportunity to get tired to the point of where we decide that we can't do something, or to think that, you know, we can't make things better. And I hear that what you said, Camille, biblically talking about the last days, but also remember the fact that before Jesus left here, it was commissioned to us to make sure that we continue the work of the church, continue his work
absolutely.
within the earth. And I don't think that I don't think that we as Christians can have an opportunity to sit back and just pray. I think that we have to act on our prayers. We have to make sure that we show up to polls. We have to make sure that we do the calling to the different police departments, to whoever we need to call to make sure that change happens. I don't think that change will come by us huffing and puffing or being tired. All that's going to happen is that things are going to get worse. We have to activate. We have to refocus our energies or get some energy and do something, because we're dying. We are dying. This is not a game. On a daily basis, black man, black woman. We saw black women getting shot up by the police. And that's why I think those who want to ally with us and who want to learn and who want to do better and who are aware of their privilege but want to do something to help. And I think that combined with our wanting to get to a better place for our nephews, for our future children, for our brothers and for our sisters, and for our fathers. My grandmom talked to me about how she was always worried about me driving back and forth from Ryder as much as I did and having some type of interaction with the police department. I get so, I have nervous attacks when I'm driving on the road and I see a police pull up behind me. I'm freaking out. My heart is pumping.
We've been on the phone during
sweating.
I detour. I've done it. I get them too. I will find a different path. I have stopped and I have walked in stores. I have literally stopped driving and walked into CVS. I walked in a Rite Aid. I've walked in the shop just to get off the road before.
Yeah,
that shouldn't be. We shouldn't have to do those things just to live in this country. And I think that that's where we have to really realize that this is a fight to live as just a regular, normal person. And so we need to gather together with other disenfranchised groups in this nation. We have to band arms with women. We have to band arms with those within the LGBTQ community, within the Latin community, Asian communities who have all had atrocities committed against them. The Native American community, definitely. And really figure out how can we make this better. It boils down to the fact that we have a patriarchate system. I said it wrong. I butchered it. I know. But this nation was built through the lens and through the foundations of racist old white men, and we need to figure out how can we beat that. How can we overturn that and make things fair for everybody and bring everybody up, including the poor, because there's poor white people who are experiencing the same things, and because they have that privilege of their skin, they don't realize that they're in the same boat. Just like with Flint, Michigan, down in Kentucky, there's poor white people who don't have clean access to water too. So we have to really think about, as a country, as a people who are oppressed, how can we move past this? How can we move forward? How can we turn this passion, this anger that we have into change? And I don't think that being tired, and even though I said that I'm tired, I'm a whole lot of things. I'm mad, I'm upset. I feel like it can happen to me at any moment, even though as educated as I am, even though I can move through the English vernacular as well as I can, I feel like it wouldn't matter at the end of the day. I feel like I can't defend myself in the moment with my coworker. I still work with her. And there's moments where I want to get her. And I'm like, I can't say nothing to her or else I'm going to get fired.
Yeah.
So we have to move to a place to where things are equal, to where people are aware of their inherent biases and they do something about it. And we as Black people, we can't sit on the sidelines waiting for change to come, praying for change to come. Yes, pray. And there's going to be some waiting, but we have to fight because this is for our lives.
I hear you. And I think what's interesting, when what's what I'm looking for?
You can do it. I believe in you.
I think what's interesting about it is, I think there's two forms of it, because there's I feel what I'm trying to say. I feel like there's two forms of tired. Like when I say I'm tired, it means like I'm tired of seeing it and it's exhausting. But I still also agree with Darnell that there are still things that need to be done and things that people could do. You know, making sure you're impactful with your vote. You know, calling politicians and things like that, signing petitions and all of those things that you can do to be active in your community. But honestly, I don't know what the change would be, what that change looks like, how people will go about starting that change. And I don't know if anyone does, to be completely honest with you. I really don't know.
I definitely like what Darnell said about we got to focus on solidarity and like sticking together and everything like that with other communities of oppressed people and everything like that. Because I feel like divisiveness and like when you're going against each other is like a huge that just makes things worse. Because it's more problems out of problems. Like that doesn't help anything.
Yeah.
And historically
it's hard to change. It's hard to change when it's like Aaron, you were saying that like you don't know where to start or what is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I was like, I don't know what that looks like. I don't know where to start. I don't know. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Right. To me, I mean, honestly, because it's so individual, it really starts with each person.
Yeah, that's a good point.
And that's hard to.
That's a good point.
That's hard to really change on a big scale. I think that where you can start with that is if you know somebody who's actively racist and you're close to them by choice or family or whatever, having that conversation.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody. Just having that conversation with the people around you, even though it's hard, or people who maybe even just are ignorant to maybe what they're saying. They don't realize that it's, a racist thing to say or inappropriate to say, just having those conversations. So I think when you talk about where do you start, I think that that's a great place to start, is putting in their face and saying what you're saying is not right. It's not good. It's wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And holding them accountable. And then that begins to change the heart of that person. And then that person then looks at themselves in the mirror and says, okay, wow, like I didn't realize that I was part of the problem. Who can I help to see what I just saw within myself? And then that person, and then it's a ripple effect.
Absolutely.
And then it's a ripple effect throughout the United States and the country and just the world in general. But it's really starts just by having one conversation with somebody. Because
starts by having those
conversations.
Yeah. And I think, like, again, I even had that conversation with one of my white friends. Love her. Hey, Kara, if you're listening to this. But it wasn't even like she was coming from a place of, she doesn't have racist ideals, but I think that she was coming more so from a place of what can
Ignorance.
I do to help? No, what can I do to help?
Kidding. Okay.
And I appreciate that conversation because it was really a conversation of where I want to receive, I want to listen,
right,
and I want to hear how can we make things better for everybody. And she was amazed at some of my stories about how I have been a recipient of racism, and how I have had to suffer through bigotry because of the color of my skin.
People really don't know that this really happens to people like our age. Like some people really think it's a whole thing. And that just might be
at my
job. It happened at my store.
At my job presently, I will say this, that most of the leadership in the store is white. And people who are white have progressed very quickly compared to people who are black, who barely have hours, who barely have any type of assignments or are given anything to do at that job that's actually tangible and paramount to making that business succeed. So I think that we got to work for better, and that when we see bad things happening, we have to call it out. I think that we can't be afraid to say that something's racist. I think that we all have suffered probably microaggressions, which for those of you who don't know, microaggressions are the little things that we can be like, is it racist? Is it not racist? It's like in that gray area, but ultimately we know it's racist. When people say, oh, that's so ghetto, that's hood. When President Trump said, I'm going to send the army down there to get all those gangsters or whatever he said.
He said
he might as well have said the N-word because that's what he was pretty much. If it wasn't black people, he wouldn't have said that word.
Yeah, this one YouTuber
you said there's great people on both sides, Darnell.
Yeah, and then also just a little caveat. I posted on this on my social media, but I'm very glad that I did not go down to Liberty University to receive a college education. Because
I saw that. What happened? Did something happen?
So pretty much Jerry Falwell, who is I think the president of Liberty, he pretty much made a statement saying that the only way that he's going to wear a face mask, because he had the governor of Virginia is a Democrat. He says the only way that I'm going to do that is if I can wear a picture of the governor in blackface next to somebody who's also dressed up as a member of the KKK. And so a black professor has gave his resignation letter, everything.
Wait, who gave his resignation? Jerry Falwell gave his resignation?
A black professor.
No, but the president of the school said that.
Yes, and tweeted it, and posted a picture of it.
Is he still the president of the school?
Yes, he's still president of the school. And so I think that we have to realize is that it's on all levels of society. That woman that was going to call the police on the black man in Central Park, she was a VP of some company. It's everywhere. It's in our health system. It's in entertainment. It's in the private sector, the public sector, how the government deals with us. It's everywhere. And I think that the more that people realize that, the more that it incites us to really unite and do something about what's happening.
Yeah, I had a lady who I could tell, I'm not quick to pull the card, honestly. But this time I just felt it. It was, You can clarify, go ahead.
That John Darnell was talking about, he was saying, because that governor of Virginia also has a picture of him in college days in blackface. So he was saying he's wearing a mask. If that picture of someone in blackface is the governor of Virginia at a college party next to someone in a KKK costume.
So the governor is white.
Yes, but yeah.
No, but he said the governor was black.
No, the governor's white.
The black professor gave his resignation.
I said he was Democratic.
Wait. Y'all were talking at the same time.
The black professor quit because
right.
The president of the university said he's only going to wear a mask if this picture of Governor Blackface himself is on it, because the governor of Virginia in his college days went to a college party and blackface. And
I've seen that.
Yeah,
it confused me because Darnell had said that the governor was black.
No, I said he was Democratic.
He did say Democratic.
Did he? Oh.
Yeah.
I wasn't done my story.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
So I could tell that she was, and it was funny because my story, you just kind of have to get help. It's like we have to help you in a sense. So I said to my coworker over the walkie, I was like, bet you she's gonna ask you for help and not me. So she went so I didn't know this, but my coworker purposely went in the back, and the lady was like, so I need help. And then I ended up helping her, and we had a lovely time. I went to check her out, and she looked at me and she was like, thank you. I could tell her saying thank you was like, it was almost like, thank you for not being like, you're way different than the stereotype that I already had in my head.
Yeah.
And that was like the first time, I guess, in my late 20s, I would say that that it was where it was right in front of me. And I was like, wow. And you know me, I'm like, I will talk to anybody. I love on everybody and anybody. Mm-hmm. But it was surprising. I was like, wow. I mean, I had hoped that maybe she walked away from it, now not judging.
Yeah. Learning that people are just people.
Yeah.
Right, exactly.
Imagine.
Right.
Any other I think it's a good place to close. It's been a great conversation on this, and then I think this was a good episode in general. I really enjoyed today's episode. It was a lot of fun, a lot of seriousness. I think it was a good time. Any final thoughts before we head on out of here?
I never did remember what my other thought was.
It not. I was hoping it was going to come back to you, but it didn't.
So I think that again, we have to activate how we're feeling right now with all the situations that are going on, because there's multiple things that are happening all at the same time, and making sure that nothing slips through the cracks, and that we really try our best to make sure that we see justice prevail as best as possible, and not to pray, but make sure that you do something with your prayers and that you become active and that you allow your voice to become a part of the dialogue. It's hard. It might be hard finding that voice, but you'll find it. And it's going to be important to make sure that we hear how we all feel so that we can move to a better place. Also, I probably will be observing this, but I think it's going to start trending and you're going to start
Talking about that July 6th, John?
July 7th, because it's on my birthday.
It's on my birthday. People don't spend money.
Yeah.
Pretty much, yes. So Black people are not going to be shutting down our dollars. We're not going to be spending anything. We're not going to be shopping. Because one thing that people fail to realize is that Black people, we
buy a lot.
We have the biggest spending power in the country.
We don't like to say
our economy.
We like to buy stuff. I love it.
Like the foundation of this country and our economy is pretty much on the backs of Black people.
We will not pay a bill.
Consumers.
But we will have to
let's shut it down. Let's not buy anything.
And you cannot borrow a dollar.
But pretty much it shows that you should
listen to us. It shows the power that we have. That's what if everyone does it, it'll be serious
and do something about what's happening in our communities. So
that's what we're talking about: solidarity, standing together, and like making a point together.
Yeah.
So like you said, it was July 7th.
Yeah, my birthday. I ain't spending no money.
Didn't we 27, right?
I think, yeah.
Yeah,
you're like me.
No, Camille, nobody will like you. Any final thoughts from you, Matt?
Wow.
Father God, it can happen.
Final thoughts.
Yeah.
I definitely enjoyed this episode as well. Good conversation, good fun. Hope everyone has a safe and enjoyable weekend. If you're doing anything, be safe. Everybody with allergies, I feel you out there. I am going through it right now. I'm definitely getting
some Claritin.
I'm getting some medicine this weekend because honestly, when I tell you the past 3 days have been terrible. I don't know. But yeah, just everybody enjoy yourselves, stay safe, and peace out.
Kimmo, you got anything?
Shout out to my brother. You make cute kids. I'm proud auntie over here. And yeah, it was a fun time.
Yeah.
It was a good time.
This was a great episode. My final thoughts are in line with Matt's. Have a good and safe weekend. And speaking of weekends, if you're looking for something to do this weekend, Sunday night, Kurt Franklin, Fred Hammond, watch it.
Yes.
We out of here, people.
Peace.